You have your coffee in hand this morning. Got your meditation cap on. I remember they used to put dunce caps on when we were kids. Oh, that dates me, doesn't it? We've talked about potty training and weaning our little babies and our baby Christians and all, and now we're going to talk about milk in a cup. You know, toddlers toddlers are so much fun. They have their own rules and regulations. They do. If it's on the floor, it's theirs. If it's where they can reach it on the counter, it's theirs. If it's in your hand, it's theirs. If it's in your purse, it's theirs. If it's visual, it's theirs. Everything belongs to them. You know, I think some of the nicest things that ever took place was when they went from bottles and they started with these sippy cups that helped the kids transfer from a bottle to a cup. It used to be that they didn't have those things, so we had to give them the cup and hold the cup, and sometimes it ended up more on you than it did on the child. It's gonna run out the corner of your mouth. It's gonna get everybody's clothes, but you know, you'll soon teach that child to hold that cup by itself because, Mom, you're gonna get tired of attending to that child and every little teeny tiny thing that it does. And your desire is to watch your child grow. And it's the same thing in Christianity. People of God, God is standing by, wanting so much to intervene sometimes, but he can't. And the reason that he can't is because he needs you to grow. It isn't that he won't. It isn't that, he knows when to intervene. Moms, you know when to get in the middle of what your baby's doing and whether to let them figure it out for themselves. You know, if they're sitting in the high chair and they got their cup of milk and they spill it, so what? You're going to clean it up. And if they're sitting in the middle of your carpet and they've got milk and they're spilling it all over, that's another time. That's a time to intervene. You know, this is the same thing when they start walking. You know, there's a time to watch them and let them fall right slam on their rear ends. And then there's other times where you're going to go over there and aid them because there's a corner of a table or something. You know when to intervene. Now, new moms tend to intervene too much. New pastors tend to intervene too much. New teachers tend to intervene too much because they're so wanting everything to be done right and be done perfect. But you have to understand that there is a process of maturing, and when you allow a child, even a child of God, to try things and do things and learn how to take in better sustenance and better food intake, you have to let them learn how to use their forks and their spoons and their knives. Come on, this is just reality. And this is one thing why I have chosen these particular topics to explain, your walk in Christianity, is because they are so absolutely parallel to the things that you'll go through as a new Christian. You're going to have to learn to walk, and so the pastor's not always going to hold your hand. You're going to have to learn to sit and be still. I watch people. Now, I'm terrible when I'm doing these videos. I watch myself, and I'm bobbing and weaving, and I'm fidgeting, and I do that because I don't sit still well. I usually have knitting needles or crochet hook or embroidery or something in my hand, or I'm drawing. I do not sit still well unless I'm physically doing something with my hands. Then I can sit still for hours. As long as my hands are doing something else, I can do this. But when I'm just sitting here talking to you, I'm constantly thinking, and I'm fidgeting, and I'm moving around a lot. And I do that even when I preach. I never stand still. And it probably drives everybody frantic because they're, I'm here, there, and yonder. But it's just the way I am. Now, other people have names for this, but I refuse to claim those things, and I have to make myself be still, especially in church, and there's times that I can't do it. So I have to go to the back of the church not to affect anyone, and I will get, because God's dealing with me, and when I pace or walk, it's so much easier for me to touch God when I'm active than it is when I'm just sitting there trying to get a download. Everybody has to touch God, and I'm in a very tiny church, and nobody, is offended by this. They understand how I am, and usually I'm back there praying. So I just kind of get back behind the line, and as to not to pull for attention or bother other people. But I watch young people and even young adults or even mature adults that you would think would know how to not disrupt a service, and they really don't. They don't. No, they just don't think. They don't think they're disturbing people, but they're keeping others around them from actually focusing and being able to listen to the service, because all the attention's on who's moving around. So sometimes I even have to go into the Sunday school classroom and shut myself in until I get over whatever it is that God's trying to show me. I'm a very active person when it comes to my exchange with God. I'm a very active physical person anyway, so I'm a touchy-feely person in the natural. At times I'm not necessarily that way in public, but within my family realm, I'm very much hands-on everything that I do, and I almost receive. I think I almost receive information. It's like somebody that was blind, and so everything has to be touched in braille, and so I find that is kind of true with me, and it's just a way that God ministers to me. So I have to make provision for that, and as not to disrupt. So we have the milk, we have the cups, and things get messy. We understand that we're going to fall. We understand that we're going to have to learn to sit and wait on the Lord. Be patient. Wait on the Lord. It's very difficult for me to wait. And even after all these years of being in a place of waiting, it's still not the easiest thing for me to do, because I'm a doer. If I think about a bookcase today, I'll have it built before tomorrow. That's just the way I am. I don't do a lot of planning. I've already got it figured out in my head. I can picture exactly what I want it to look like, and as soon as I do, I'm on it. So not everybody's that way. That tends to frustrate me, because I see other people who have to analyze and make pictures and draw and talk about it and decide how much it's going to cost and this and that, and I've already processed that thing. Does that make me crazy? A little bit weird, probably. And this is just the way I am. So on the flip side of it, I have to be extremely patient with people who are not as quick to grasp things as I do, because they're not hands-on kind of people. Everybody's different. I have a friend, a very dear friend of mine, that's actually my daughter and sister and best friend in the Lord, and all of a sudden, about 4 or 5 years ago, it dawned on me, she is an abstract artist. And it dawned on me, I could never figure out why she picked abstract art. I'm very much of a practical art. A rose must look like a rose. A daisy looks like a daisy. A cup looks like a cup. I don't like the handle over on this corner and the cup bottom on that corner. That doesn't make any sense to me. But it does to her. And all of a sudden it dawned on me that she's not just an abstract artist, she's an abstract thinker. So she thinks outside of the box, and she looks at angles that I would never even imagine looking at. So when we come into, say, discerning of dreams, or we come into a place where we're trying to come into a discerning of a word from the Lord, she can, or something that, an issue that I've got in my home, or that I'm going through personally, or her, we tend to now understand that I'm going to look at the very practical aspect of everything that's on that. What do I want to say? I don't know the word. I can't grab the word. Sorry. Carbon copy of what things should be, and she's going to look at that abstract part of it. She's going to see those facets I would never think of, and the two of us together have been able to discern many things more than we ever would if we would have never comprehended that we both function in this way. And we used to fight a lot about the way that I would try to guide her, and she just wasn't getting it, and the way that she would try to respond to me, and I wasn't getting it. So we would come to big mouthy arguments over things and hang up on each other and do all this stuff. But once we figured out that we were just processing things differently, then we all of a sudden had a lot of grace for each other and stop, wait a minute, you're looking at it in this abstract manner. I need to listen to you because there's something that you're seeing that I'm not able to see. And then she'd have to say, okay, wait a minute. Let her describe exactly how this donkey looks on the outside, and then I can take my process of abstract thinking and dismantle it and pick it apart and analyze it even more. And so we become a very good team. So what am I saying? So to me, she was a messy with the cup. You know, she was spilling milk everywhere, and me, I wanted it right there with that sippy lid on. Sit in the high chair. Don't spill it. Don't get it on me. And I don't want to hold somebody else's baby who's drooling. I don't mind my own drooling on me, but I don't want somebody else's baby drooling on me. I'm not much of a somebody else's baby mama. But I had to learn that Maria, my friend, I probably shouldn't have said her name, but anyway, I had to learn that as she took that cup and she was just spilling it everywhere and having a high time about it, but in this respect, she was processing things and getting to the result in the end. So what do I say? There's going to be messy times. Stop trying to make everybody think like you think. Stop trying to think like everybody else thinks, because the way that God processes things in your life is exactly what you need, and it's exactly what they need. My time is way over, so I'm going to end it right here. God bless you. Let somebody be messy. Come on now. You know you are sometimes too. Have a great day. Bye.